everyone. It has definitely been a little bit more than a week since our last podcast, but welcome back. My name is Alishiera, and I'm joined by...
Hi, I'm Jimmy or CatRoulette.
And we're back with episode 2 of the AliCat podcast.
Sorry it's been so long.
Yeah, where we just, ramble about some random shit, and hopefully some of it is somewhat interesting to you guys.
That's the dream.
I think that it is the dream. I think first off, in the time that we haven't, uploading weekly and all that, most of us have been in isolation. I know that both you and I have been.
Mm-hmm.
What's our time skip transformation? How are we looking? How are we all kind of like plotting the course with how we're gonna look coming out of full isolation?
I had some pretty cool ideas, but pretty much I just put on 8 kilos. So none of my my reveal outfit ideas will work. But I did get a sick haircut by our very good friend Zumbo Blackheart.
Yes.
He was a wonderful cosplayer and just extremely good person. She also makes wrestling gear, so if any of you happen to be wrestlers and need wrestling gear, please hit her up.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, she always does an incredible job. She's also a really, really good hairdresser. She did an incredible job on my hair and stopped me from looking like Anakin from the third Star Wars prequel movie, which is a hot mess. And yeah, she put a cute spectrum of pastel colors through my hair, so my hair looks great. The rest of me looks questionable.
And I think it's something that pictures really haven't done justice to your hair.
It's
either.
Impossible to get the colors to show up properly.
I think you really need that studio lighting. You need the white light to really show the intricacy of the color.
Yeah.
But you can take it from it. It's looking really nice.
Thank you.
I mean the photos still look nice, of course, but it's even better in person. Just take it from me.
Yeah, it's just hard to really get the scope of it in a photo.
Yeah, I'm really hoping. So my transformation is much the same. I think weight-wise, I've actually managed to plateau kind of, but I have definitely lost muscle mass, but I haven't specifically gained weight, which I guess could mean that I've gained weight but also lost muscle mass because muscle weighs more than fat. So I've probably definitely put weight on. I have been hitting up the snackies quite a lot, which has been it's been good, but not for my waistline. I
got to a point in terms of snacking where I just realized that I could do whatever I wanted.
Oh, so yeah, that's the danger.
I was just buying 2 liters of custard and just eating it.
And chalky milk.
Chalky milk. I had so much chalky milk. I've actually dialed back on that. I think I'll probably... So I'm eating healthier now. When I stepped on the scales and realized that I had put on 8 kilos, I was probably shouldn't keep going down this track. So I haven't really been doing the exercise I intended as much as I intended, but I've definitely dialed back my eating habits, which is nice, and I'm eating less, drinking less chalky milk because, oh boy, I drank a lot of chalky milk.
I would like to say that we're gonna come out of this time skip more rested, but I think we've actually been doing the opposite kind of. Earth is going on. Any League of Legends fans or players would know what we're talking about. Anyone that doesn't, it's ultra rapid fire, which means that you can essentially just spam all of your abilities.
Yeah, 80% cooldown reduction.
Yeah, so that has been taking up a lot of our time.
We're just gonna
we've had a lot of late nights.
Yeah, we're gonna be tired and we're gonna have RSI.
Yeah, my hair, I really need to go see Zumbo because my hair has grown. It actually hasn't, because I had my hair pure white down to the roots, it doesn't look awful, but I just hate it because it's not what I want it to be.
Yeah.
So I've taken it to wigs, wearing wigs on stream though, which has been fun. As well, if you get a good wig, if you have a comfortable one, an uncomfortable wig to try and sit through a stream. I know you experienced this the other day.
I wore one of my old wigs and it just felt real bad.
Yeah, it's not good. I think the only thing that I don't like about wigs on stream as well is they're really slippy. Like to try and have a headset on. I know you have in-ear headphones at the moment, so like for you, you haven't been experiencing that. But because the cups of my headphones are like a faux leather, wigs are. I don't have any human hair wigs. I'm not bougie enough or rich enough to have actual human hair wigs. Mine are all synthetic. So it's really slippy on the fabric. So if I like move my head too aggressively, which maybe is teaching me I shouldn't be moving my head as aggressively, but that's nowhere near as fun.
It's like when
then it'll.
You're like young and they're trying to teach you posture and you have to like balance a book on your head.
Yeah, that is essentially what it feels like sometimes. And I like to think I have pretty good posture most of the time, but the times that I don't, I notice it and my headset will fall off.
Oh no, I
so
didn't mean like
downside.
specifically that your posture is bad. I mean, there's just like a parallel between the same sort of thing where like you have to like keep
Cat,
still.
we're gamers. There are times that all of us have bad posture.
Yeah, we get that real bad. I have super bad posture. It's like one of my biggest annoyances about myself as a person is that I try so hard and I never seem to be able to actually fix it.
Yeah, I have just been finding as well with art. This was something that you did warn me about, though.
Yeah.
That I didn't listen to straight away. But posture with art, like drawing, I didn't realize how much my wrist would hurt if I'm not sitting in a good way. Because I've just started digital art, and I think because like your brain tries to justify it by being like, oh, it's just like little tiny strokes and motions and stuff. It's like you're not doing anything arduous, you're not doing anything like too strenuous. But boy, have I like had cramps like in my shoulder as well, which
really?
I wasn't expecting. I think it's because I'll be like laying in bed, like drawing on my iPad. So that was a time that like, yeah, and I mean I should know this because my dad's a remedial massage therapist. You have muscles in, well, your whole body, but like for example with drawing in your wrist or in your arm or shoulder even, that are only, their job is like a support muscle essentially. Like they're there to help your big muscles do their jobs. So if you've changed the way you're doing something and it's relying more heavily on these little muscles, that's where you get like, I'm sure like you've probably experienced it at some point, and like people can like let me know or like comment or whatever if they have, but you'll get like an injury or a cramp and you're like, bitch, I didn't even know I had a freaking muscle there.
Yeah.
Like how does it hurt here? That's like your little muscles that like if you injure, you can do it if you like injure a big muscle, like the little muscles around it will have to compensate and try and help do the job more. Or if you're doing something weird that you haven't done before and you'll be using those muscles when you don't usually use them. So that's definitely been something with drawing
I would get
that I found as well.
a lot when I would go to the gym and my PT would make me do something new.
Yeah,
and I'd just be like,
yeah.
what is this fresh hell? Why does it hurt in these places?
Oh god, what were the, I can never remember what the butterfly squats, what were the ones?
I always go to say Bavarian. I think it's Bulgarian split squats. But let's just call them Bavarian split squats. I like to think about cake.
Bavarian is like, that's like legit a place. So that like, either works. They hurt.
Yeah, I think it's Bulgarian split squats.
Yeah, so Kat and I would have PT sessions together. Like, we used to live really close together. And then Kat moved to Sydney. And then while Kat was in Sydney, I moved to the other side of town. So we don't live near each other anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah,
but we would go to the same gym together. And we had occasional PT sessions together. And it was actually really good. It kept both of us motivated because we had just such different skill sets. Like, because did you do calisthenics or gymnastics or something?
I did gymnastics and ballet.
Gymnastics, yeah, and I didn't. I played softball, and I did like rowing and stuff. So like I've got like really strong legs, and like I typically can like lift heavier things, I guess, to put it like really basically, and anything that required more finesse and like balance or flexibility, Kat would just like smash. Like these squats were demon squats to me, but you could do them really easily. Like it's still like obviously it's exercising, but like to you, you're like, I don't like, to you it was something that you're like, oh yeah, this is like within my range, like this is something I enjoy.
It's because
whereas like
I think a lot of it, like obviously like I did a lot of gymnastics and stuff when I was younger. But I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that I sit like a degenerate all the time. Like, and sometimes I sleep, like, the positions I will contort myself into while sleeping, like, literally sometimes I don't know how to explain it, but I will link my arm up, like, inside to the underneath my knee, and I will, like, hold my knee up to my chest with my arm, and I will sleep like that. Like, so,
like a real good deep stretch as you sleep.
yeah, I don't know why sometimes, like, to get comfortable I have to just completely contort myself, and it's the same when I sit. I always sit really, like, contortedly. So I think that I don't think contortedly is a word, but I think that, like, that that has a lot to do with it, like, because I am always, like, stretching my legs and stuff, so I have good flexibility, but it's just weird.
Yeah, yeah. It's actually something, I don't know what it is. Like, you have a bed and it's so comfortable. Like, I love my bed. It's super comfy. You have, like, a nice overlay and, like, it's a good mattress. The pillows are pretty new. We've even got, like, a new bedspread and stuff on it. But just sometimes I will just not be able to get comfortable. And I've taken to recently, like, I have, because we have, like, 2 pillows each on the bed. I'll grab, like, my top pillow and I'll, like, do a similar thing almost where I have my knee up really high, like, resting on the pillow and have one arm over the pillow. And the cats love it because they come and sit on the top side of, like, on top of the quilt where the pillow is. So they're all for this new, like, sleeping style. But I'll do it for, like, a week and then I'll be like, okay, I'm comfortable again. It's so weird. I guess it's, like, maybe it's, like, ISO crazies. Like, maybe that was contributing to it. But it's weird how, like, our bodies work, I guess. Like, it could be like I had a really little injury that I didn't realize, or
it could also
it just
be
weird.
Like, when we spend so much of our time, well, I mean, I guess you not so much because you do, like, dance breaks and exercise and stuff for stream, but I think part of, like, what's contributing to my and a lot of people's difficulty resting is that we are spending so much time resting, and then when it comes time to rest, we have already rested all day and it's hard to, like, do it properly.
Yeah, something that I'm trying to get out of the habit of is using electronic devices in bed, because I think they did studies on it at some point, but it's, like, very much, I think my brain is too active when I go to bed sometimes, because I'm so used to well, like, now I've been drawing in bed, or even, like, I really like white noise when I go to bed, so often I'd put a podcast on or something, and I think now I've almost gotten to a habit where if I don't have that, I can't sleep, which I don't like. And I also don't like the habit I've gotten into of getting up and I'll still be in bed and I, like, check my socials or ththings like that. That's also a habit I want to get out of.
I literally, like, go on my phone as I am falling asleep and then wake up and check my phone, which is pretty bad.
But I think they actually did do studies that, like, because we're creatures of habits, like, humans are creatures of habits, if you build a habit of, like, bed is not just for sleeping, like, you're doing other things, like, even reading, they say, can attribute to it. But I think because our phones are lit and it's, like, a white light, I do have a night, like, setting on my phone, so it's not as, like, blue light, white light, whatever, but our brains are still so active that they don't register bed as necessarily a resting place. I'll have to, like, see if I can find the study again. This was a study I heard about years ago, and it may have just been some shit that my, like, parents were spouting to tell me not to go on my phone when I went to bed. But maybe. It seems like a logical kind of thing, and so it's really something, like, I use my phone as my alarm. So that's kind of, like, where I'm rocking a hard place with keeping it next to my bed. But, I mean, I could just get an alarm clock.
True, but what's the point of having an extra appliance when you have something that can already do it, right?
Already running out of PowerPoints next to my bed because I have, like, a humidifier in my room and, like, my lamp and all that. I don't want to get a power board just for an alarm clock.
Exactly.
But,
at the same time, they're, like, I don't know, maybe it is bad, but I like being so connected, sort of, like, to people. Like, I like, if someone messages me during the night, I'll see it, in the morning,
Yeah.
like first thing when I wake up. And usually I will like
Yeah.
wake up really early and I'll check my phone and I won't actually reply to anything because I can't type when I've been awake for like 13 seconds. I actually tried to do that this morning and it took me 5 minutes to write 2 sentences because I had to just keep untyping it because it made no sense and I couldn't press the right buttons.
Well, because that is the trick that you told me, that if we have something planned, I'll just start as soon as I'm awake, like on the hour, every hour, send you a message, just be like, art day, or something like that, and then you see it when you wake up.
Yeah, I do check my phone when I wake up. So I actually slept well last night and woke up not early. It was still at like 11, but earlier than 2 p.m., which is when I have been waking up, which was nice. I haven't slept well in ages.
Yeah, I think, like you said, so many people, it's like, hasn't been an uncommon thing. Like almost insomnia type stuff, or just restlessness with sleeping. People sleeping and not feeling rested when they wake up. I think definitely a lot of people's schedules have been thrown out of whack with people working from home. You can get up at 10 o'clock and then go to bed at 2 a.m. or something like that.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see how people readjust. I know in Adelaide, so anyone that doesn't know, we're from Adelaide, and we currently have no active cases in Adelaide.
Well, yeah, we haven't for like a week, huh?
Yeah, so we do have people going back to offices, cafes and restaurants and pubs and stuff are starting to reopen again. So it's going to be interesting for the people that do have office jobs. I know we have friends that have just been enjoying kind of going back to the office because of the social aspect and stuff. So I wonder how they're going with schedule. I
can't imagine, like... So I haven't worked like an office job for a few years now. And I actually like cannot imagine getting up at like 7:30 to get on a bus to go to the city to sit in an office for 8 hours.
Yeah.
To then get on a bus to come home in the dark. Like, that is, like, just not a life that I think I am capable of living, and I'm certainly not prepared to do it. Like, when I left my last office job, like, it was just data entry, so it wasn't as bad as when I was doing, like, actual, like, full-on secretarial sort of, like, admin stuff. But I was just like, this is not something that I ever want to do. Obviously, my plans, once I left that, completely fell through, and now I don't know what I'm doing with my life. But I just, like, promised myself, I'm like, I will not go back to this.
Yeah, absolutely. It is something that I think it takes a certain, like, they say that different industries suit different personalities more.
But I don't think anyone is supposed to live like that.
No, well, like, because some people really do enjoy routine, and some people, like, I know people that they, like, have such routine. They get up at 6 o'clock, go to the gym before work, go to work. They have, like, everything that's, like, so rigorously planned for the day, and they're healthy, happy people. They have their 4 weeks of leave a year that they'll go on their trip and stuff, and they do seem happy, but it's definitely not something that everyone is, I think, the temperament for. Even looking at different industries, like, because I worked hospitality up until I was streaming, all of the different jobs I had were all under the umbrella of hospitality. And some of the stories that I would tell people, particularly my previous job was at a hotel. I was a concierge supervisor. The guest complaints, some of the things that I would tell people and then how I'd respond to it, there's, I don't know how you could, like, just stand there and get abused for something that had nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
And it's like, to me, it was because it was a job, and I knew, like, I got real badly bullied, like, as a kid. So when people, like, lash out at me, like, just with words, I'm like, oh, okay, they probably just have something going on in their own life. I know that this has nothing to do with me. So typically it doesn't really affect me. So because I was in a professional environment, I would just be like, okay, well, they're angry about whatever, so I'm not going to get upset about it. But yeah, I talk to people and they're like, I can't even comprehend. Like, Reese has said, like, I could not do that job ever.
Yeah.
Like, I could not do that job. So
I'm the same. I won't take my anger out on people, sort of, like, if they are being frustrating. But I found, especially when I worked in legal offices, I found it really difficult to, and I already have kind of, like, not like a problem with authority, because that's, like, I think a bit too edgy for how I feel. But, like, I hate when people assume that they are above you and then treat you as if they are above you just because they've, like, decided by some, like, invisible sort of, like, algorithm that they're better and deserve more respect. And I just, like, when people treat me like that, or I have to see people being treated like that, I just, like, really struggle to not act exactly the way they acted back. Like, I would just reflect their attitudes, and it did not do me any good in that environment at all.
Yeah, well, it's definitely something that I'm kind of the same if I see someone projecting it. Like, when guests would start yelling at my team members, that I got really frustrated at. But fortunately, because I was a supervisor, I could kind of intervene and direct it more at me because I didn't care.
Yeah.
Like, if someone was yelling at me because it took 11 minutes instead of 10 for someone to come up and collect their bags, I'm like, okay, you obviously, this cannot be the genuine root of your anger because that is such a trivial thing. So obviously it's, again, some other shit or like a self-important
Yeah, I was
thing.
gonna say,
so I
consider
wouldn't
this.
care.
Some people are just fucking terrible.
That's true. But again, like, I'm like, this is something that is so, like, outside of something that I have done that I don't care. Like, I have been, like, screamed at that many times in the, like, line of duty, I guess, to sound really obnoxious with it. But I never once took anything that a guest negatively said to me to heart because I knew that I was good at my job. I knew that I hadn't done anything wrong, and then anytime that there was something that I deemed was like a mistake on behalf of like myself or one of my clients had made towards the guest, we'd offer like very, very reasonable it gets called service recovery. So like if we make a mistake, it's like a compensation that you give the guest or offer the guest. And you would have as well, it's like 98% of people, whether it be like working at a cafe as a waitress or maitre d', or working as a porter or concierge in a hotel, or like anything similar, most people are fine. They might not be like the best customer or client or guest ever, but most of them are at least fine. It's like 2% that really have like it in for anyone that they think is below them.
Yeah.
That they'll really arc up at. But like, again, I can't be bothered getting upset over some little man in a suit that thinks that because not everything was 100% to his expectations that he gets to scream at me. I'm like, I've got 2 beautiful cat children waiting for me at home. My life is good. I'm not going to let this like upset me. But yeah, it's really interesting though to see when things don't go 100% to plan, or like to how people think, to see what their reaction is. I think that's really telling of a person sometimes. Like, I've always been of the mentality, like, if someone's nice to me, but then, for example, we went out to get a coffee and they were rude to the service staff, I'm like, you're not a nice person. If you're going to be nice to me because you want something out from me, like whether it be like friendship or just like conversation, but then you're going to be rude to someone that's just trying to do their job, then ultimately I think that you're a rude person.
Yeah, I had a boyfriend, and this was like 2.5 years into the relationship, I think. And I sort of like, oops, I just like smacked my computer. I already like kind of had doubts at this point, but he was like, you know that guy who goes around like restaurants and stuff with the flowers and like asks if people want a photo?
Yeah.
He was like really rude to that guy. And like tried to justify it afterwards, like, oh, like why doesn't he get a real job? And he didn't have a job, by the way. And I pretty much like I just like knew that I was gonna break up with him then. Yeah. I didn't do it for a while after, but I was just like, yeah, that's like, that does it, I guess. Like kind of just shows who you are. It just like, it costs absolutely nothing and takes no effort to be nice to people rather than going out of your way to be a dick.
Yeah, and I don't know. I'm not someone that has like heavy beliefs in like, I don't know, a karmic cycle or like something like that, but I genuinely think that there's no harm in just being polite and nice to people.
It's easier as well. Like, it makes your life easier to be nice to people.
Yeah,
there's
like
no
it
reason not to do it.
I would caution against being like generous to a fault, because you should never like be detrimental to yourself just to be nice to someone.
But just like being polite, like smiling if you make
like,
eye contact, like moving out of the way for people.
Polite
like...
ways to decline something. Like you don't need to just be like, get away from me. You can just say, no thank you, I'm not interested. Like there's such like little tweaks.
Have a lot of trouble saying no to people, but now like I'm just so comfortable being like, oh, like no thank you, I don't want that, or I don't want to do that, and it's actually just made my life so much easier, just like learning how to say no to people. And usually like if you're really straight up about stuff, like people are generally chill anyway, because like sometimes you just don't want to do stuff, and that's fine.
Yeah, and I think we're pretty lucky with our friends and stuff as well, that we have around us. All of us know that we love each other and we care about each other and each other's well-being. So if someone says, look, I'm not up to catching up, or like I'm going to leave early or something, like if we're at an outing together, we all know that it's not us, like they might be feeling unwell or something, and we know that each other is so genuine, and we know not to be upset or offended if someone declines like a social gathering or doesn't have, like, can't help with something, because that is just such a big thing that I think unfortunately a lot of people don't learn how to politely say no. And also we have a heap of people that never really learn how to graciously like accept when someone declines something.
Because I hear like in like friendship groups and stuff, like a lot of horror stories of like people who like won't accept, and I've had like friends like way in the past who would just like not accept that if I didn't want to do something, or like someone else, they would just like, they would take it as like a slight against themselves, and it would like really impact the friendship. So you sort of like had to say yes to them all the time, or it would become a huge deal. And it's really nice to sort of like be in a place and with people who are so understanding, and to that like not be a thing at all. It's just like, we just understand that like sometimes you don't want to do stuff, like you can't do stuff, or for whatever reason, and it's just chill. And it's like ultimately better as well, because if someone doesn't want to be doing something and you force them to, you're probably not going to have like the best time. They're going to be miserable if you're like forcing someone into it. That's why I don't like that. That's why occasionally, like if I'm, and it's only if I'm having like a really bad day, but like there were a couple times in Sydney where I was supposed to go out, and I one time, and this is like the worst, but like I literally got dressed and I looked at myself in the mirror and I just like burst into tears. Because my mental health was just like really bad then, and my anxiety was like so bad that day. I like got ready to go out, and I just had to like message my friends, and I'm like, I'm so sorry. It was like a goodbye party as well, so I felt terrible about it. But I was like, I really just like cannot, and if I were to come out, I would be so miserable to be around, and it would make you have less fun. So whoops. I think people appreciate the honesty as well, because I know I always felt awful, because I used to feel really anxious about declining something. And so often I'd make up an excuse instead of just giving a genuine reason. And then you have that like little fear and worry, like what if they, like I always, anytime I would lie about not being able to make it to something, I would be so anxious that they'd ask, like, I don't know, Reese, like, not that any of my friends would have ever done that, but I would just have this like anxiety. So like it just pays so much more, and that's why I love like all of our friendship group, because I can like say, just I can be honest and say like I'm feeling like really flat and just don't think that I can do like a social thing or something like this. Particularly like when I was really ill, everyone was so understanding when I was just like, I just can't do social things at the moment. No one pushed it. No one was just like, you're a bad friend. Speaking of going away parties, I remember like at the peak of me being ill, going over to yours to spend like one last evening of us like chatting and stuff, and I literally like passed out on the couch. Like I was so sick, and then you're just like, did you fall asleep? I'm like, oh god, oh what's happening? And then you continued to fall asleep like another like 3 or 4 times. I'd like turn to speak to you, and if you were quiet, I was like, oh, she's asleep again, that's okay.
And that was so don't mock people if they say that they're dealing with chronic fatigue, like whether it be actual like ME viral like like chronic fatigue or just like because they've had such like big stresses and anxieties, they've had fatigue for a prolonged period of time. It's real. We
Yeah.
experienced it. And I fell asleep many times
Yeah, that was
on
like
the couch.
pretty next level. And you felt so bad. You're like, oh, I wanted to hang out with you, but I was just asleep. And it's like, whatever, like it happens.
Yeah, we were still there.
And now,
that's, like, I
now
think-
we get to have a bit of a chuckle about it.
Yeah, it's looking back at it, it's very funny.
Yeah.
I think it's like so funny as well because both of us knew how desperately I was trying not to fall asleep.
Yeah.
But I think that's something that I was like really like respected you for, like even in the early points of like our friendship. I remember there were times that like in group chat people would say, oh, well, let's like do this, and you just flat out be like, nah. Like it's just like, yeah, like you'd be like very to the point and say like, I'm like, if we were, I can't even remember like specific examples, but you're like, oh, definitely catch up with like drinks after or something. But it's just like people should be able to say when things don't interest them.
Yeah.
Like it's not something that like I have really bizarre interests. Like some of my like hobbies and things, like I love Excel spreadsheets, which is like not a fun thing to most people. But I love like plotting like graphs and charts and stuff for like things like gardening, and like you can do that kind of stuff. I'm not gonna be like, if there was something involving that, I'm not gonna ask any of, like I may ask, but I'm not gonna expect any of my
Yeah.
friends to be like interested in the slightest on like some of the random stuff I have interests in.
Yeah.
So
I think for the most part in general, like, well, I think most of us are usually just like happy to do stuff just like with our friends, but there are just like, yeah, like some things you just don't want to do. Like I find a lot of the time sit down dinners make me feel really uncomfortable. So unless it's like
Yeah.
obviously with close friends, like I love going out with you guys.
Yeah.
But like anything like for work or like even with
Yeah.
family and stuff, I hate it. So I just like always try
Yeah.
and avoid them. But I think like, yeah, that's why I just try and say like, yeah, like don't really feel like it, because I remember actually, and I've just like never forgotten this, but there was a girl who I was friends with, and she actually was like one of my best friends for many years, but sort of like early on in her friendship, I was also friends with her boyfriend, and there was something we were supposed to do together, and she told me that she had to babysit, so she couldn't, like she cancelled last minute, and I was like, oh yeah, like that's fine. And then I found out later that she didn't have to babysit, she just didn't want to do it. And I never brought it up with her because, like, I didn't want to make her feel bad, but it just made me feel bad, not for the fact that she didn't want to do this thing, but because she felt like she couldn't tell me. Like, if she had last minute just been like,
Yeah.
I'm not feeling it, like, I don't want to go out, I would have been like, yeah, like, that's totally chill. I probably would have been relieved to not have to leave the house. But just the fact that she felt like she had to, like, lie to me and make up an excuse, I feel like there is, like, that danger, right? And, like, people will rather you just tell them straight up, and then even if they do feel bad, like, oh, they didn't want to do this thing with me, it's better than being like, oh, they didn't want to do this thing and also they lied to me about it. So
Yeah, and see, that's like what I was saying. That is like my ultimate fear, which is why I just don't lie about like if I don't want to do something.
yeah, like her boyfriend
Anymore.
accidentally told me, like
Yeah,
even in
it's-
yeah
It's like, because I never got like talked to, but that's like was one I think like they know. Oh, they know.
Yeah.
They know I lied. Because yeah, it is just like, I don't know. I guess the takeaway from this whole conversation is honesty is the best policy. And like, yes, there's definitely times when refraining from certain details might be courteous, but at the end of the day, with close friends, honesty is the best policy.
yeah
In saying that, if you do need to unload on something like really intensely emotional, please do check with your friends that they're in an okay space to talk about something like that.
Yeah.
Because I know that I've had some really personal things that I have wanted to talk to friends about, but you should always check, because sometimes it might be something that would just strike a nerve with someone, that they may have had something similar happening or happened to them, that and they don't want to kind of relive it or something. So that's also a courtesy. Be honest with your friends, but also check if you want to like talk
Yeah.
about something like a heavier topic.
Well, there was like that meme, or well, like, it wasn't a meme, but it was like made into one basically. On Twitter, where there was that person who was just like, "Oh, I am not like currently, I don't know, like I don't have the capacity to deal with this. Like perhaps you
Yeah.
could," but and it's like, on one hand, like, yeah, that was terribly worded and it made them sound like a robot. But, like, that's fair. Like, you can just say to people, like, I'm not in a headspace to deal with this right now. And if someone says, like, are you okay to talk? Like, are you in a good spot? Like, can we talk about something? You can just say, like, I'm sorry, like, I can't right now. Or, like, something like that. Like, I feel like, yeah. People really struggle to just, like, do what's best for them.
Because it could just be something like your friends just had, or like you personally, if someone's asking you, just like a real shit day at work. Yeah. It may be that you're like, how about we catch up for a coffee tomorrow and talk about it? Yeah. Or something like that. Someone just may, in that moment, not be in a space or even just in a mood to talk about something like that, because maybe they realize they can't give you the support they want to because they're feeling like shit themselves or whatever the reason.
Generally, like, I will say, if it's really important that you talk to someone, like, then it's fine. Like, I'll deal with it on my end. Like, obviously, if it's, like, something that's very important for, like, my friend, then if it's more important for them to have someone there for them than for me, like, if what I'm dealing with isn't huge or whatever, like, if I'm just feeling shitty, then it's sort of like you weigh up. But, yeah, for the most part.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I know I had something earlier in the year that in just, like, a moment of shock, kind of trying to process it myself, I messaged you, but then like 30 seconds later I deleted the message to you and then asked. So like don't feel bad if like you like kind of dealing with something and you do kind of accidentally blurt something out. That's not what we're not trying to like guilt anyone.
Yeah, we're not trying to like shame people for needing help from their friends. Like always always
help
reach out, but
always
then definitely still like respect if someone can't help you like at that time.
Yeah,
like, that's why,
because I know the topic that I like, it was a heavy topic. Like, when I messaged you, I'm like, oh my god, this has just happened. And then I kind of process, I'm like, wait, are you okay for me to talk to you about something, like, really intense that's just happened to me?
I think it's another situation where, like, most of the time people will be happy to. It's like, I, like, 99% of the time will, like, love to listen to my friends and try and help them. But it's just, like, every once in a while, it's just, you just do not have the capacity.
Yeah. Yeah. Or again, it could just be a particular topic that they're like, I'm really sorry, but I can't like deal with this particular kind of issue. Because like, everyone has their own thing. Like, kind of feeding back to like when I was talking about like hotel stuff, like when people are lashing out and getting really emotional over seemingly nothing, usually an indicator that something else is going on, not that necessarily like what you did was something bad. But there's just been like so many overreactions of things recently in the Twitch realm as well. I know we've had some really very heavily memed, because that is our generation's way of dealing with stuff. You just meme on it. Like, but we've had so many like outbursts. Like, some of them must surely be staged, regarding like people subbing and things like that. I know there've been, I can't even remember their name. I did not commit to memory the names of any of these streamers, because I thought it was just so preposterous the way they went about it. But streamers essentially like guilting their audiences, like, why haven't you subscribed? I haven't had like subscribers in this long. $5 is not a lot of money.
Like if you're spending your time on Twitch, then you should have which doesn't make any sense, and you should have the money. So
no,
I think
like, because no, you go. Sorry.
Well,
I'm so exasperated over this already. I'm like, ugh.
I saw a couple of comments being like, oh, this is just like, it's like a joke, or it's their thing, like they cash in on outrage culture, but like that doesn't make it better. Like, people say that like it's about that same like that gun girl who like, it's like her thing, like whether she believes what she says or not, like she absolutely just like cashes in on outrage culture. She says things that she knows are going to make people mad, and it makes her more famous. But like, that doesn't change the fact she's a fucking terrible person for saying those things. I think it's like like a similar case of like, whether it's like they're doing it for like a joke or whatever, or just like to cash in on people getting mad, it's still terrible, like, because they're still guilting people into giving them their money. Like, they're putting pressure on people to make them feel bad, whether they can actually afford it or not, to give them the money. And I just think that's like terrible, whether they think it's funny or not, personally.
Like, because I can definitely, when looking from an outsider's perspective, looking in, when talking about subscriptions, because I know when I started streaming, I had family members or people that didn't even understand at all why someone would subscribe if it's free content. And if you're looking at it from a business perspective, definitely, like, if someone wants to support it, I view it very much kind of like a Netflix subscription, where if you are really enjoying the content, and so I stream 5 days a week ideally, and those streams typically go anywhere from 4.5 to 5.5 hours. So say you're watching 2 of my streams a week, and then in the month you're watching like 40 hours plus of content. Sure, you can potentially, if you're really enjoying it, justify paying a subscription, but it should never be something that I signed up to Twitch and started streaming on Twitch knowing that I may get no subscribers, because I'm choosing to go on a platform that is free to watch. And you can put, like, I do a sub only stream once a month as well, and like that may increase or fluctuate like in the future, but you can do things to like incentivize subs, I guess, but like I would never want to guilt someone. Particularly, I think the thing that hit the nerve the hardest was that this is during a pandemic.
Yeah.
We're actually like, yeah, fam, $5, like, if you've lost your job because of a global pandemic, kind of might be really, like, crucial, a $5. And maybe watching a streamer who, like, you really enjoy their content. Like, if someone came and hung out in my stream and they were having a really terrible day, and then they could just watch me, like, die at Hollow Knight, and that brought them some kind of enjoyment, that is, like, gratifying to me. Because yeah, there are so many revenues where you can have a paywall in front of your content, and if your content is good enough and people want to pay for it, there are avenues like Patreon, like all different things. If you could do a sub only Twitch where you had to be a subscriber to watch after a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
If you wanted to, but these people aren't doing that. And then they're complaining that people are utilizing the fact that it's free to watch. It's just absurd to me.
Yeah, it's all just very silly. And yeah, it is hard to believe that they're genuine because it's just so dumb. But then, like, also nothing surprises me these days, so...
Yeah,
maybe they are, like, completely, like, dead ass about it.
Yeah, we were chatting before we started recording. You're saying emotes in chat as well.
Yeah.
I saw, like, a friend of mine did, like, a video mocking that. I didn't realize that was a real thing, that someone was complaining about people using their own emotes in their chat.
Well, it's not so much that they were complaining. I think the post, like, the tone of the post was just like unpopular opinion or something, like I feel like it's kind of rude for streamers to use their own emotes in my chat, like it feels like they're self-promoting. And pretty much everyone's just like, what? Like, a couple of people said, like, yeah, well, I don't use my emotes in other people's chats because I feel sometimes like it could be rude. But pretty much everyone was like, why would you think that? Like, it's not like them saying, like, oh yeah, look, these are my emotes and you should go and sub to my channel because of my emotes. Like, obviously, that would be rude if they're saying, like, look how cute my emotes are, like, out of the blue, like, for no reason. But yeah, I love when people use their emotes in my chat. Like, yeah, I wanna see that cute shit. Like, people have such good emotes, and if someone from my channel wants to subscribe to them because they have really good emotes, then good. Like, I don't know. There's such, like, an us against them sort of mentality, I think, in the Twitch community sometimes. And that's, like, usually it's only, like, outliers. Like, it's very rare that you see it. But, yeah, every once in a while people will just be like, don't talk about it. Like, there was a very long time ago now, like, over a year ago, I think. There was someone who said, like, I don't want, if you are a streamer, I don't want you to ever mention it. If I ask what you've been doing and you've been streaming, I want you to say that you have been at work. And if you need to leave to go and stream, say that you are going to work. Like, and I was like, that's bizarre. Like, if you ask someone what they've been doing and they've been streaming, they should say that they have been streaming. And then you should talk to them about their stream. Like, it just seems extremely insecure. Like, so I think that sort of stuff is just dumb. Like, obviously saying, I am going to go and stream now on my channel where I stream. Like, I understand that being seen as rude, like leaving a channel to say that you're going to stream can
but
be
then
seen
also-
as rude. But like
Yeah.
saying
as
you
well,
have
like-
been streaming, like that's fine. It's not like they can leave to go and like, well, no one's gonna leave to go and watch their VOD sort of thing. So
Yeah, when you have people that like will be actively self-promoting, obviously that is
Yeah.
really annoying. And
Yeah.
someone was saying something about Toss that you're not supposed to do that.
Oh, really?
I don't know if that's.
I think
an
everyone knows that they
enforced
shouldn't
thing.
self-promote though. At least.
Yeah, like because I had someone the other week that was saying, "Oh, could you go and like check out my like YouTube or something?" And I'm like, "Look, fam, like we don't post links about like other people's kind of content creation in chat, but like in Discord, I have like a dedicated like." You can like post when you're going live or share like creative things that you've done. Like I love seeing what other people create because I think by watching other people's content you can get ideas yourself.
Yeah.
Like you say, oh, I like that aspect, and I know I've talked to so many friends. Burrows Red, who I would highly recommend anyone going
Absolutely.
and checking out. Love Burrows. I hit her up with questions.
Shoot her up.
Shoot her up with questions quite frequently because she has such finesse in the way that she goes about like with her transitions and overlays and like using her stream deck and some of the things that she does. I'll see certain things like, wow, I really like this one little aspect of like what she's doing. I don't know how to do that though. And she is so wonderful with at least linking to like, oh, just like if you Google this, because sometimes I just don't know the right words to Google to figure out how to do something. I'll just be like, what is this that you've done here?
What are it?
And
Magnets.
And things like that.
How do they work?
Yeah, magnets. How do they work? But it is so incredible to look at other people's content, and so I love that. But please don't go into people's streams and start talking about your stream schedule and asking either the streamer or other people to go and check it out. It's just really rude.
Yeah.
Like it's, and I don't particularly care because I've got a really lovely community that I don't think would just jump ship because some person has come in and said I also stream. I don't like have any like insecurities that all of a sudden everyone's gonna leave chat and go watch the person that's self-promoting. But it takes away from what's happening in the stream,
And it's just
I guess.
awkward.
Like,
It's like if you
Yeah.
were to walk into a cafe and be like, I own a cafe, it's here. Like,
Yeah,
that would be
and
weird.
I think that's actually like a really incredible analogy now that you've brought it up as well though, because in hospo, cafe owners love chatting with and like socializing like with other people in the scene, but yeah, would never like you don't go into like networking. Incredible.
Yeah.
Going into someone's cafe and starting handing out business cards.
Yeah. And if
Not-
someone
yeah,
at that
no bueno.
cafe or like the owner of that cafe were like, oh, what do you do? And you're like, oh, I own a cafe as well. Like, that's cool. And then you get to talk about it. And I feel like that's similar to streaming. Like, it's like, oh, what have you been doing today? Or what are you up to? Or how's your day been? And they're like, yeah, I had a stream earlier. So it's like, that's sick. Like, I want to hear about your stream. But if someone comes in and like, yes, I am a streamer and I have been streaming and this is my, like, schedule and stuff like that, then it's weird. Like, I think it's taken too far with the, like, you should never mention that you are a streamer because that just comes off as insecure, right?
Yeah.
Like, there are millions of people who stream. Like, you are going to share audience and time slots and stuff with people.
Yeah.
Like, and that's fine. But if you, like, refuse to let anyone, like, acknowledge that they also stream, it's just insecure and weird.
Yeah. And when it's also like the harsh reality of it, the way that I try and look at it when I'm streaming is that if your content is better, more people will watch.
Yeah.
And that's been one of the biggest things is I've been trying to like chat with my community and see what like test the waters, see what the people watching you enjoy and do more of it. that's like a really simple way. And that's where, yeah, like going and like watching other people's streams and stuff can really help.
Yeah.
With figuring out how you want to do things. And it could just be you like the kind of configuration of someone's overlay. You could be like, oh, I really like that they might have like a donation goal here and this, or like different framings of things.
Yeah.
And then you can put your own aesthetic on it and like design and build up your own look. So ultimately they're completely different, but you've taken inspiration by watching other people's streams.
Yeah, and that's
art forms like
well, yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's like with art, it's like with everything. Like,
Yeah.
everything is influenced by something. And by seeing, like, what the people who you admire are doing, obviously, like, it shouldn't need to be said, but, like, obviously we don't mean, like, copying people, but, like, taking inspiration for things, like, that's just, like, how the world works. Like, everything is inspired by something in some way, and taking inspiration from, like, things that you like is, like, very normal and should be a thing, as well as, like, networking with other streamers, like, not just, like, from the perspective of, like, I would like to, like, network to grow, but, like, to actually, like, because Twitter's all about community, like, to actually grow your community, and, like, community shouldn't just be, like, from your view, just, like, you are the streamer, and you have all of these people who just, like, come to worship you. Like, community is, like, also being a part of that with other streamers and, like, other people.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is, like, community is the backbone of streaming. Like, if you do not have a strong community of lovely people, or, like, even if lovely is not what you're going for, like, there's some people that have built really strong communities that have been, the streamer, like, hasn't necessarily cultivated, like, a certain kind of community, but there's, like, something that you can have that ties everyone together. So it may be that you have built a community that comes and watches you because they love really finessed gameplay. Like, you see a lot of pro players that will have really strong streaming communities because they appreciate and they really like the skillfulness of the play that they watch.
Yeah.
And can really appreciate that.
And, like, there are some streamers that, like, barely even talk during their streams, and it's because people are just there to see them play, and that's chill as well. Like,
yeah, and then I know for you and I, we have really lovely communities that they
like, tolerate our gameplay.
Yes, that's a very good way of playing it. We do not have finessed gameplay, but in fact, we have communities that are there for the social aspect.
Yeah, exactly. Like, they just come to, like, chat with us and, like, the other people in chat, which is, like, that's what community is, right? Like, you come to just, like, chill with people. And, yeah, honestly, I am shocked that anyone can put up with watching me play video games for any amount of time, but I really appreciate that people, like, enjoy just, like, hanging out. So
yeah, and it is, like, when you mentioning earlier that you are always going to have crossovers in communities, and that's not a bad thing. It's actually something I really love. I love looking at my Twitch analytics and seeing you share X percentage of audience with CatRoulette, or, like, this person or that person. I'm like,
I love seeing someone in, like, 4 different chats in a day. It's just, like, it's so good. You're like, oh, you're here too. Oh, you're here too.
It's
oh, you're here
so
too.
lovely. I guess I'm going to shout out two community people that jump into both of our chats, Red Neon and Mr. Mikachu.
Yeah.
If either of you are listening, Red, I know you're probably listening, but I love seeing, like, I will, like, pop into chat. I'm a serial lurker, so they don't always know I'm there, but I see, like, familiar names in chat, and it makes me so happy seeing, and I know Red and Mika both, they were just like, oh, fancy seeing you here, because it is, like,
I think, like, a small part of me thinks they're there for each other and not us. Which is...
I know, which I also love. I can get behind that. I respect that.
I love that.
Both of them do contribute to conversation in hilarious ways. So, I mean, it definitely... And it does really help as a stream. The kind of streams that we both have, which are very heavily conversational. It's really lovely to have active chatters. Again, I'm a serial lurker. I do try and chat often, but often I am doing something while I'm listening to streams, so I don't always have the capabilities to be actively typing a lot. So then I feel bad because I'm like, oh, do I need to then, like, say BRB or excuse myself or say I'm going to lurk now? And then I end up getting really flustered and then just not saying anything. But, like, having active chatters, like, definitely is really wonderful. And I've seen so many familiar names across, like, our streams. I see a lot of crossover. Mel or Maleficent 88, Burrows Red, Wisdom Size, obviously, which is, like, a whole, you guys run, but there's a whole culmination of content creators, Aussie content creators that are part of that. And one American, like our DM is American. Bless his cotton socks for putting up with Australian time zones so that he can DM for us. But seeing across so many channels, when you see so many familiar names, I just love it. I think it's so great. Happy. And it makes me feel really happy knowing that when I've raided someone or hosted, or even like if it's been in the reverse, someone's raided or hosted me, when you see those familiar names popping up again, I'm like, I feel really good that I shared my community, or someone was comfortable sharing their community with me.
Yeah.
Because obviously, like, they have had people that have really enjoyed the content. Like, I feel good because I'm supporting my friends, and then I also feel good because I am providing quality content outside the times that I am streaming, because I love the content that all my friends make. So it's just super lovely, and it's sharing is good. Okay. Don't be scared to share or credit or anything like that.
It's good and nice.
Good and nice. But you also mentioned a starting soon, which I hadn't even heard of that one.
That was just this morning I saw.
That like another like unpopular opinion kind of thing, where it wasn't like having a go at starting soons, but it was just like, I don't think starting soons
I don't like this at all, and I don't think people should have them. I mean, but again, it wasn't like that tone exactly.
Yeah,
it was just like that person saying like, there's nothing more disappointing than this, and I hate it. But it's just like, for smaller creators, because they were verified on Twitter, I don't actually know who they were as a streamer, but a couple of people said like, you have a large following, so this wouldn't be a problem for you, but for people with smaller followings, but they like, people of all sizes of streams do starting soons. But like, they specifically said for like smaller streamers, like even the going live notification, like they don't go out at the same time. Like, people will get them within like 5 to 10 minutes sometimes, or even later, or they just don't get them at all, like the notifications that you've gone live. So it gives people time to get there, rather than like missing the beginning of the stream. So, and also what we said is that once you press live, you always forget something.
Oh,
so always.
And like, I would love to at like some point, because I am delving into like a bit of filming and stuff. I enjoy pursuing lots of different artistic avenues, I guess. So I will be doing some filming stuff. So I would love to like have it set up eventually that maybe there's like a video that plays like while my starting soon.
Oh, that would be so cute. I've seen people that do them for their BRBs, and it's such a good idea.
Yeah, I'd love to do it for my BRBs as well. But also, like, I know as someone that's, I mean, I am sporadic, which I do apologize to everyone for. I'm not always super, super consistent with my exact starting time. If I see as well someone like the go live notification, and I can see like a starting soon and with like a countdown, or even if it doesn't have a countdown, I'd be like, oh, I'm gonna go make a cup of tea, or like, I'm gonna get a snack or something like that. Like, I actually really enjoy it when other people have starting soons, because it means that I can like prepare myself for the start of stream. I'm like, I don't want to move from this spot, so I'm gonna get a snacky, I'm gonna get a cup of coffee or something, and go from there.
And sometimes you get to have a quick chat with people who are also there before they go live, and it's just nice. I don't know, I just like it.
I do too. I really enjoy it. But in saying that, if you don't like it, the beauty of it is there's so many people that are live on Twitch. If you don't want to sit through a starting soon screen, you can flick through other live channels. Yeah. So there's always choice. So, and I guess that's why, like, if it was framed in an unpopular opinion thing, it's not an invalid opinion. Like, it's definitely, like, I guess if you liken it to traditional media, if a drama TV show was starting, they wouldn't necessarily have a starting
But they
soon.
do have intros.
They do have intros, and they also have, like, last time on insert TV drama name. And they'll do a recap kind of thing, which is kind of why I'd like to do an intro video type of thing. Really cool. So like a recap of like clips from previous streams or something like that would be nice. But I mean, I guess it depends on what device you're on. I always, when I am at my computer, I have about 27 tabs open at one time, and I'm doing like 17 different things at one time. So if someone has a starting soon, I will just keep that open on my other monitor, and then I'll be like, oh, they're live now, okay, cool, and I'll like unmute it and then be like paying attention to it. So that's workarounds. There's ways that you can get around things. Yeah. Oh, and I can't believe I am really enjoying this with our first and now second podcast. It is already almost an hour that we've been recording for. We're really good at rambling.
Yeah, I was gonna say, this is just how our conversations go. Like, this is just like a conversation pretty much. This is how we talk for hours on end. Like, we can be in I slapped my knee, sorry if that was very loud. We can be in like a Discord conversation for like 12 hours and like, obviously, we have comfortable silences as well, but we can talk that whole time and it will be fine.
Oh, yeah. And, like, there's a lot of sharing of, like, TikToks
Yeah.
that happen during
Like,
that
stupid
too.
memes we find.
Like, I guess what's that? We finished with Cinnamon Goods
Cinnamon Goods.
last time. What is our takeaway gonna be?
Oh, I don't feel
for
like we
this
had
episode?
something as strong. I mean, the overall theme was just
No.
like, just be like good and nice to people and let them do their thing.
Good and nice.
Yeah, just be
good and nice. I think is a pretty good takeaway. Be
Yeah.
good and nice.
Yeah.
Is so if you've managed to listen through somewhat like not I wouldn't want to say heavier, but I feel like we had some really good conversation. Like it wasn't as like kind of light and superfluous as I thought maybe this would be with the topics we'd kind of written down initially.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you have gone through that, hopefully you found it interesting, and you have been able to ascertain kind of our standpoints, our viewpoints and opinions on certain things. Yeah, I hope you did enjoy it, and remember, be good and nice. I was going to say good and or nice, but
Both,
maybe
please.
just try and be both. Yeah, be
To
both
other
would be
people
excellent.
and also to yourself. Just be good and nice.
Yes. Because you can't, if you're not good and nice to yourself, you won't have the full capabilities to be good and nice to others, because looking after number one is important.
Yeah.
Because we love you and you guys matter, so do that too.
Yeah,
But yeah, so we don't kind of plot or forecast what we are going to be doing in these episodes. We kind of just like find topics we want to discuss like the day before or like the couple of minutes before we start recording. So if there is anything that you guys would like to hear us ramble about, you can tweet at us. We both do have our own Discords. Bring it up while we're live on stream if you would
we'll
like
write
to
it down.
as well. Because we are more than happy to just keep finding random as topics to talk about. Because apparently we can ramble for an hour and not notice that an hour has gone by. But we would love to hear from other people as well what of interest you would like us to talk about.
Yeah, and also we are extremely new to podcasting. I'm not going to say we 100% know what we're doing. So if anyone has constructive, kind criticism, please don't hurt our feelings. But we would love to hear it. Like, yeah. So if anyone has like suggestions or criticism or thoughts or anything, just like get them at us.
Yeah, constructive criticism is great. And if you have any feedback on the formatting and stuff like that, even the way that we've done, it is very simplistic at the moment with the podcast. Obviously, the
still
beautiful
trying to figure
artwork done
things out.
by Kat. We hope you like the intro song. We did have that linked, and we'll have it linked down below as well. It is just incredible. I love it so much. But yeah, we love feedback. We stan constructive criticism. It's very
true.
good to hear.
You have no choice but to stand.
No choice but to stand. But with that, we hope you enjoyed. We hope to potentially hear from some of you if you have anything you want to hear, or again that tasty constructive criticism.
Yes,
we do have our socials linked below, so if we didn't bore you to death, which hopefully we didn't, I found it quite interesting today.
Or
You can,
if we at least bored you to sleep.
yeah, I mean, well, I did mention at the start of the podcast, I do like grey noise. I listen to podcasts while I fall asleep sometimes. So
I think we mentioned it last time as well.
if we served a purpose to you and you would like to hear from us further, socials down below. We do both stream weekly at least. We neither of us have like a fully nailed down schedule just because of who I am as a person. I don't always start on time.
And I am a hot mess.
But yeah, love you guys. We will hopefully be uploading next week. I'm gonna say we are.
Yes.
If we commit to it, I feel like
let's
there's
do
more
it.
pressure. Yeah.
And you can shame us if we don't.
So there's be good and nice, but also shame us if we don't upload next week.
Yeah.
That can be our takeaway.
We need it.
we do need it. But yeah, I guess that's it for us. Unless you have any further takeaways, Kat, before we wrap up.
Nah, I'm good.
Hell yeah. All right.
Bye.
To you lovely people. Later.
Goodbye, we love you. Be good and nice.
Be good, nice. Bye.
Bye.